Like and subscribe for more awareness and how not to be conned videos. A dusty gust of wind, thick with the scent of jasmine and the distant wail of a street vendor, swirled down the narrow alleyways of Jaipur. It was a city of contradictions, where ancient traditions brushed shoulders with a relentless modern ambition. In the heart of this vibrant chaos lived Ram, a man content with his small house and his even smaller, well-ordered life. He'd always prided himself on his pragmatism, a trait that had kept him steady through life's unexpected turns. His life, however, was about to be shaken by a man who was the very opposite of order. Gaurav. A man with a smile that could disarm a bank robber and a spirit that seemed too big for his own body, met Ram for the first time in a bustling chai shop. Gaurav, with his sun-kissed skin and hands roughened by hard labor, was the sort of person who immediately drew you in. He spoke with a quiet confidence that belied his circumstances. Their friendship was new, a fragile thing formed over shared cups of tea and conversations that stretched late into the evening. Ram, a man who guarded his friendships as he guarded his money, found himself captivated by Gaurav's simple honesty. He was a man of his word, and that meant something in a city where promises often dissolved like smoke. One day, Gaurav had needed a few hundred rupees for a new tool. Ram, with a customary shrug, had given him the money and promptly forgotten about it. But the next day, a day before he was expected, Gaurav appeared at Ram's door, a small wad of crumpled notes in his hand. "Ramji, here is the money you lent me," Gaurav said, his voice soft but firm. "I promised to return it, and a promise is a promise." Ram was taken aback. "Gaurav, you didn't have to rush. I wasn't even thinking about it." Gaurav's eyes held a genuine warmth. "My father always told me, a man's true wealth is his word. I wouldn't want to tarnish my father's legacy over a few rupees." Ram simply nodded, a new respect settling in his heart. The March of 2012 arrived with a searing heat that promised a long, brutal summer. "Ramji, can we meet? I have something important to discuss." "Of course," Ram said, a flicker of concern in his gut. "Let's meet at that new place, Spice Route." When they met for lunch, the easy banter that usually passed between them was absent. Gaurav's shoulders were slumped, his usual charisma replaced by a heavy cloud of despair. He pushed his plate of dalbati churma away untouched. "Ramji, you know I'm a farmer," Gaurav began, his voice barely a whisper. "This year, the locusts, they came like a plague. Everything is gone. My crops, my family's livelihood, all of it. Just dust now. I'm so sorry, my friend, but I won't be defeated. I'm going to start a new business, a trader of clothes, B2B. I've always had a good eye for fabric and I know the right people. But to start, I need capital." Ram listened, intrigued. Gaurav laid out his business plan with a meticulous precision that surprised him. The numbers were large, almost dizzying. "I need 50 lakhs, Ramji," Gaurav said, his gaze unwavering. "I know it's an absurd amount, but I've calculated everything. I will pay you back every last rupee, with a fair return." Ram's mind reeled. 50 lakhs? It was a fortune, but he looked at Gaurav's face, the raw vulnerability mixed with an unyielding determination. He remembered the few hundred rupees, and how Gaurav had returned it a day early, simply because it was the right thing to do. "All right, Gaurav," Ram said, the words surprising even himself. "I'll do it, but I expect a full accounting." A wave of relief washed over Gaurav's face. "Thank you, Ramji, you won't regret this." And he didn't. The money started to trickle back, a steady stream of payments arriving a day, sometimes two, before their due date. There were times when Gaurav's business hit a rough patch, and he would call Ram, his voice filled with apologies. "Ramji, the last order was delayed. The installment will be small this month, but it will be on time, I promise." And true to his word, it always was. By June of 2013, the full amount was returned, with an astonishing 24% interest. Ram, who had initially agreed to the loan out of friendship, was now seeing Gaurav through a new, more calculating lens. Gaurav was more than just a friend. He was an opportunity. A month later, they met again, this time at a small coffee shop. The air between them was different now, the warmth of friendship tinged with the cold, hard gleam of business. "Your business is doing so well, Gaurav," Ram said, stirring his coffee. You should think about expanding. You could be a king in this market. Gaurav smiled, a flash of genuine pride in his eyes. I've been thinking the same thing, Ramji. The demand is growing, but I'm constrained by capital. I need to buy a warehouse and hire more people. He paused, his gaze meeting Ram's. I need more capital. This time I need 1 crore. Ram didn't hesitate. The thought of a 24% return and the memory of the last successful transaction was intoxicating. The pragmatist in him had been replaced by a new insatiable creature, greed. 1 crore. Consider it done. Gaurav repaid the amount in less than 6 months. The interest, a mind-boggling 12 lakhs, filled Ram's bank account and his heart with a feverish glee. The next time they met, it was for tea in Ram's own home. The conversation flowed easily, from politics to family, until Ram brought up real estate. I've been thinking about selling my plot of land near the outskirts of town. The market is hot right now. As a matter of fact, I know a buyer. He's looking for a large plot of land for a new project. He's willing to pay 10 crores and has already given me a token money of 50 lakhs. Ram's breath caught in his throat. 10 crores. Gaurav's plot of land was worth a fortune. Gaurav leaned forward, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. But I have a little problem, Ramji. The business needs a cash injection. The buyer is a little slow. I need 2.5 crores to keep things moving. I can pay you back within 3 months. And of course, with a fair return for your trust. Ram's mind raced. He wasn't thinking about friendship or even business anymore. He was thinking of the 24% interest. He was thinking of the endless possibilities of 10 crores. He was a man drowning in a sea of his own making, a sea of greed. 2.5 crores. Gaurav, consider it done. I trust you. He shook Gaurav's hand, a firm, confident grip. He was sure that the money would be returned with a massive profit. He was sure of it. But the days turned into weeks, and the weeks bled into months. The first installment, which Ram expected within a month, never came. He called Gaurav's phone. No answer. He called again, and again. The line was dead. A cold, dread-filled realization began to settle in his gut. He went to Gaurav's house, a small, unassuming place in a crowded part of the city. The door was locked. He asked the neighbors, but no one had seen Gaurav in weeks. Ram's world, once so stable and predictable, had been shattered. The man he had trusted, the man who had impressed him with his honesty and his punctuality, had disappeared like a ghost in the desert air. He had been conned, not by a stranger, but by a friend. The 10 crores for his land was a lie. The 50 lakhs in token money was a lie. The business, the punctuality, the friendship. Had it all been a lie? Ram stood in the heart of Jaipur, the same city where it had all begun. The familiar sense of jasmine and dust now felt like a bitter mockery. He had gained a fortune only to lose everything. The man who had been so pragmatic, so sure of himself, was now just a man standing alone, his pockets empty, and his heart hollowed out by the very thing he had chased: greed. Con men often use trust to fool you. They would be more genuine looking until you have a doubt. When you are in their trap and you trust them blindfolded, they would strike. You need to always do your due diligence. No matter how much you trust a person, always be aware. Be aware. Be safe, and don't forget to like and subscribe.